Hi, welcome to English Hamster. Are you learning English? Great. Here we learn through stories. They are simple and interesting. You can improve English while learning knowledge. Remember to subscribe, like and comment. Let's get started.
Today, we are going to hear a very long and interesting story. We are talking about Ali Khamenei. He is the supreme leader of Iran. But before he was a leader, he was a little boy. This story helps us learn English and history at the same time. Are you ready to listen and learn? Let's start at the beginning of his life. Ali Khamenei was born in 1939. He was born in a city called Mashhad. Mashhad is a very big and holy city in Iran. Many people visit this city every year. But when Ali was a boy, the world was very different. His family lived in a very small house. This house only had one room. Can you imagine living in a house with only one room? It was not easy for them. His father was named Javed Khamenei. Javed was a very religious man. He was a teacher of religion. He did not have much money, but he was very respected. Ali's mother was named Khadijah. She was a very kind and smart woman. She told many stories to her children. Ali had many brothers and sisters. Because the house was small, they were always together. They shared everything they had. The family was poor, but they were happy. Ali remembers that they often ate simple food. Sometimes they only had bread and some tea. On special days, they had a little bit of fruit or meat. His father worked very hard to buy books for the children. Books were more important than expensive clothes in their home. Ali loved to see his father reading. He wanted to be a teacher just like his father. Do you like reading books? What was your favorite book when you were a child? Thinking about these questions helps you understand Ali's life. For Ali, books were his best friends. He spent many hours looking at the pages. Even though he was young, he was very serious. He did not play games like other children all the time. He liked to sit quietly and think. When Ali was very small, he started going to school. This was a religious school called a maktab. In this school, children learned how to read the Quran. The teachers were very strict. They wanted the children to learn quickly. Ali was a very good student. He had a very good memory. He could remember many poems and stories. His teachers were very happy with him. After a few years, he went to a regular school. He liked learning about math and science, too, but his heart was always in religious studies. He wanted to understand the world through his faith. His father told him that education is the key to a good life. Ali believed this very much. He walked to school every day, even when it was very cold. Mashhad can be very cold in the winter. Think about your school days. Did you walk to school? Was your school far from your house? In those days, there were no buses for the children. Ali walked through the narrow streets of Mashhad. He saw many people working in the market. He saw people selling carpets and spices. These smells and sounds were part of his daily life. He learned a lot by watching the people in his city. As Ali grew older, he became more interested in his father's work. He watched his father talk to many people. People came to their small house to ask questions. They wanted to know about right and wrong. His father always listened patiently. This taught Ali how to be a good listener. He learned that being a leader starts with listening to people. This is a very important lesson for everyone. When Ali was about 15 years old, he decided to study religion more seriously. He went to a bigger school in Mashhad. He studied with famous teachers. These teachers saw that Ali was very bright. He asked many questions. He did not just listen, he wanted to understand why. Why are things this way? How can we make things better? This curiosity helped him grow very fast. He also loved poetry. Persian people love poetry very much. It is part of their soul. Ali read the poems of Hafez and Sadi. These are very famous poets from long ago. He sometimes wrote his own poems, too. Poetry helped him express his feelings about the world. It made his language very beautiful. Even today, he likes to talk about poetry with writers. Life was not always quiet, though. During this time, Iran was changing. There were many political ideas in the air. Young people were starting to talk about the future of their country. Ali listened to these conversations. He began to think about more than just books. He began to think about the people of Iran. He felt that he wanted to help them. But he was still a student, so he focused on his lessons. One day, something very important happened. A famous teacher came to Mashhad. This teacher talked about big ideas. He talked about freedom and justice. Ali went to hear him speak. This was one of the first times Ali thought about politics. He realized that religion and the life of the people are connected. He wanted to learn more about this connection. This was a big turning point in his life. Imagine you are 18 years old. You have many dreams for your future. What do you want to do? Ali wanted to go to a city called Qum. Qum is the most important city for religious study in Iran. It is like a big university for religion. He told his father about his dream. His father was proud, but he was also sad to see his son leave. But he knew Ali had a big path to follow. So Ali packed his few belongings. He did not have much. He had some books, a little bit of money, and his father's blessing. He got on a bus to go to Qum. The journey was long and dusty, but Ali was excited. He was going to a place where he could learn from the best teachers in the country. He was ready for a new chapter in his life. In Qum, the life was very busy. There were thousands of students from many different countries. Ali found a small room to stay in. Again, he lived a very simple life. He spent most of his time in the library or in the mosque. He studied for many hours every day. He often forgot to eat because he was so busy reading. His friends said he was the most hard-working student they knew. While he was in Qum, he met a man who would change his life forever. This man was Ayatollah Khamenei. At that time, Khamenei was a very famous teacher. He was very brave and spoke his mind. Ali went to his classes. He was amazed by Khamenei's words. He felt that this man had the answers he was looking for. He became one of Khamenei's best students. Meeting Khamenei was like finding a guide in a dark forest. Ali followed him closely. He learned about how to be a leader. He learned that a leader must be strong and never give up. This friendship was the start of a very long journey. They would work together for many, many years. Ali was no longer just a student from Mashhad. He was becoming a person with a mission. Ali was no longer just a student in Qum. He was a young man with a big heart for his country. At that time, Iran was ruled by a king called the Shah. The Shah was very powerful and had many soldiers, but many people, including Ali, were not happy with how things were going. They wanted more freedom and more respect for their traditions. This was the start of a very dangerous time for Ali. Have you ever stood up for something you believe in? It is not always easy, is it? Ali began to give speeches in mosques. He spoke about justice and how to help the poor. He told people that they should not be afraid to speak the truth. His voice was strong and clear. People started to listen to him more and more. But the Shah's secret police, called the Savak, were also listening. They did not like what they heard. The Savak was very scary to the people of Iran. They watched everyone and followed anyone who spoke against the king. One night, while Ali was busy with his work, the police came to find him. This was the first time he was arrested. It was 1963, and Ali was only 24 years old. They took him away from his books and his family. He was now in a dark prison cell. This was a very difficult moment for a young scholar. In prison, the rooms were small and cold. There was very little light and not much to eat, but Ali did not let the walls of the prison break his spirit. He used his time to pray and think deeply. He remembered the poems he learned as a child. He recited them to himself to keep his mind strong. He knew that his journey would be long and hard. Even in the dark, he found a way to stay hopeful about the future. After some time, the police let him go, but they told him to be quiet. Do you think Ali stayed quiet? No, he did not. He went back to Mashhad and started teaching again. He taught young students about history and religion, but he also taught them about being brave. He used stories from the past to show them how to face big problems. He became a hero to many young people in his city. The police arrested him many more times over the next few years. In fact, he went to prison 6 times. Every time he came out, he was even more determined. He was like a tree that grows stronger after a storm. Each time he was free, he worked harder to connect with other people who wanted change. He traveled to different cities and spoke to different groups. He was building a network of friends and followers. Imagine being away from your family so many times. Ali had a wife and children now. It was very hard for his family when the police took him away. His wife was very brave and supported him during these years. She took care of the children while he was in prison or hiding. This support gave Ali the strength to keep going. He knew he was not fighting for himself, but for the future of all families in Iran. In 1977, the government tried a different plan. They did not just put him in prison this time. They sent him far away to a small town called Iranshar. This is called Exile. Iranshar was very far from his home in Mashhad. It was in a very hot and dry part of the country. The government thought that if they sent him away, people would forget about him. They wanted to make him feel alone and powerless. How would you feel if you were sent to a place where you knew no one? Iranshar was very different from the busy city of Mashhad. It was very quiet and the weather was very difficult. But Ali did not stop working. He started talking to the local people in the town. He helped them when there was a big flood in the area. He showed them that he cared about them, even though he was a stranger. Soon, the people of Iranshar loved him. This was a big surprise for the government. They wanted to hide him, but instead, he became a leader in that small town. He proved that a leader does not need a big office or a title. A leader only needs a kind heart and a desire to help. This time in exile taught him a lot about the different people living in Iran. He learned about their problems and their dreams. It made him a wiser and more patient man. While Ali was in exile, the rest of Iran was starting to change very fast. More and more people were going into the streets to protest. They were tired of the king and wanted Ayatollah Khamenei to return to Iran. Khamenei was in another country called France at that time. He was sending messages back to Iran, and Ali was one of the people helping to share those messages. The energy in the country was like a boiling pot of water. One day, the government realized that exile was not working. The protests were getting bigger and bigger. They allowed Ali to leave Iranshar. He immediately went to Tehran, the capital city. Tehran was the center of all the action. There were millions of people in the streets. You could hear the sound of shouting and singing all day and all night. It was a time of great excitement and also great danger. Ali joined the other leaders of the movement. They met in secret houses to plan what to do next. They had to be very careful because there were still soldiers everywhere. But the people were no longer afraid. They wanted a new Iran. Ali used his skills as a speaker to talk to the crowds. He was very good at explaining complex ideas in simple words so that everyone could understand. Do you remember the first part of our story? Ali was a boy who loved books. Now, he was a man who was helping to write a new chapter of history. He was no longer just reading about heroes. He was living a story that people would talk about for a long time. Everything he learned in school and in prison was now being used. He was ready for the biggest change of all. The king finally realized he could not stay. In early 1979, the Shah left Iran. It was a huge moment for the country. People were dancing in the streets and giving flowers to the soldiers. A few days later, Ayatollah Khamenei arrived back in Iran. Ali was there to meet him. It was a very emotional day for both of them. Their long dream was finally coming true. But the end of the king was just the beginning of a new set of challenges. Building a new government is much harder than starting a protest. There were many different ideas about how the new Iran should look. Ali was right in the middle of these big discussions. He was now a very important person in the new system. He had many responsibilities and very little time to rest. Let's think about this part of his life. We saw how Ali went to prison many times. We saw how he lived in a hot, faraway town, but he never gave up on his ideas. This shows us that being strong in your mind is more important than being strong in your body. He used his voice and his kindness to win the hearts of the people. The revolution was a success, but the work was just beginning. Iran was like a new house that needed a lot of repairs. Ali Khamenei was now one of the most important people in the country. He had many different jobs to do every day. He worked in the new government and helped make big decisions. Everyone wanted to hear his ideas because he was so close to Ayatollah Khamenei. One of his first big jobs was being the Friday prayer leader in Tehran. This is a very important role in Iran. Every Friday, thousands of people come together to pray and listen to a speech. Ali stood in front of all those people and talked about the future. He talked about how to make the country strong and fair. His voice was heard on the radio and seen on TV by millions of people. Have you ever had to speak in front of a large group of people? It can be very scary, right? But Ali was used to it because of his years of teaching. He spoke with a lot of energy and passion. He wanted people to feel proud of their new country. He told them that if they worked together, they could do anything. This made him a very popular leader among the common people. But 1981 was a very scary year for Ali. One day in June, he was giving a speech at a mosque. It was a normal day, and many people were there to listen to him. Someone had hidden a bomb inside a small tape recorder on his desk. Suddenly, the bomb exploded while he was talking. It was a terrible moment, and everyone was in shock. Ali was very badly hurt in the explosion. His right hand and his shoulder were damaged. He had to go to the hospital for a long time. Doctors worked very hard to save his life. Many people across the country prayed for him to get better. This event changed his life physically as his right hand became weak. But it also made him feel that he had a special purpose to stay alive. Even while he was recovering, he did not stop working. He showed people that he was a survivor. This made his followers love him even more. They saw him as a brave man who was willing to get hurt for his beliefs. Shortly after he left the hospital, something big happened. He was elected as the president of Iran. He was the first person from the religious community to hold this office. As president, Ali had a very difficult task. A big war had started between Iran and Iraq. This war lasted for 8 long years. It was a very sad and painful time for everyone. Many young men went to the front lines to fight. Ali did not just stay in his office in Tehran. He often put on a soldier's uniform and went to visit the troops. Can you imagine a president visiting soldiers in the middle of a war? He wanted to show the soldiers that he was with them. He sat with them in the dirt and ate the same simple food. He listened to their stories and told them to be brave. These visits were very important for the spirit of the soldiers. They felt that their leader really understood their problems. During the war, there was not much money in the country. Life was very hard for many families. Ali tried his best to keep the country organized. He had to make sure people had enough food and fuel. He worked very long hours and had many meetings with other leaders. He learned how to manage a country during a very big crisis. This experience made him a very strong administrator. In 1989, a very sad event happened for many Iranians. Ayatollah Khamenei, the father of the revolution, passed away. The whole country was in deep mourning. People cried in the streets because they lost their guide. Many people wondered what would happen next. Who would lead the country now that the great leader was gone? It was a time of great worry and uncertainty. A special group of leaders, called the Assembly of Experts, met to choose a new leader. This was a very serious meeting. They talked for many hours about who was the best person for the job. They needed someone who was smart, brave, and understood the law. After a lot of discussion, they chose Ali Khamenei. He was now the supreme leader of Iran. Ali was surprised by the decision. He told the other leaders that it was a very heavy responsibility. He knew that following Khomeini would be very difficult, but he accepted the role because he wanted to serve his country. He promised to follow the path that they had started together. From that day on, he was the most powerful person in Iran. Becoming the supreme leader changed his life completely. He moved into a new role where he had to oversee everything. He had to look at the army, the economy, and the laws. He was no longer just the president, he was the guide for the whole nation. He started to hold meetings with people from all parts of society. He met with students, workers, and even poets. Do you remember how much he loved poetry as a child? Even as the supreme leader, he kept this love alive. He started hosting special nights where poets would come and read their work. He would listen carefully and give them advice. This showed people that even a powerful leader can have a soft side. He believed that culture and art were just as important as politics. As the new leader, he also had to talk to other countries. This was not always easy. Iran had many disagreements with countries like the United States. Ali had to be very firm about Iran's independence. He told the world that Iran wanted to make its own choices. He did not want other countries telling Iran what to do. This was a very important message for him. He also focused a lot on science and technology. He told young Iranians that they should study hard. He wanted Iran to be a leader in medicine and space. He often visited universities to see what the students were making. He believed that knowledge is power. By helping young people learn, he was building the future of the country. Let's think about this part of the story. Ali went from being a student to a soldier, then a president, and finally the supreme leader. He survived a bomb and a long war. He showed that he could lead even when things were very dark. He always remembered his simple beginnings in that one-room house in Mashhad. This helped him stay connected to the people. Today, he is an old man, but he still works many hours every day. Even though he is the most powerful person in Iran, his life is still very simple. He does not live in a big, gold palace like the old kings did. He lives in a modest house, and his office is very plain. This simplicity reminds him of his childhood in that one-room house in Mashhad. Do you remember how his father lived a simple life? Ali believes that a leader should not have more than the common people. He often meets with people who have very little money. He listens to their problems and tries to find ways to help them. People who visit his home are often surprised by how basic everything is. He uses old furniture and eats very simple food like bread, cheese, and fruit. His day starts very early, long before the sun comes up. He wakes up at dawn to pray and read the Quran. This morning time is very quiet and peaceful for him. He says that this is when he finds the strength to face the big problems of the day. After his prayers, he likes to go for a short walk. He believes that staying active is important for a clear mind. After his morning routine, he starts reading reports from all over the country. He wants to know everything that is happening in Iran. He reads about the weather, the price of food, and the work of the students. He also reads news from other countries around the world. He believes that a leader must always be learning. He never stops being a student, even at his age. One of his favorite things to do is to meet with young scientists. He is very proud of the progress Iran has made in science and technology. He often talks about knowledge-based companies and new inventions. He wants Iran to be able to make its own medicines and machines. He tells the students that they are the real heroes of the future. He believes that a country is strong if its people are smart and educated. Think about your own country. What is the most important thing for its future? Is it money or is it education? For Ali, the answer is always education. He visits universities and looks at the robots and computers the students build. He smiles when he sees young people working hard on new ideas. He thinks that science is a gift that should be used to help everyone. Even though he is a religious leader, he is very interested in the internet and social media. He has his own website that is translated into many different languages. He also uses platforms like X, formerly Twitter, to share his messages with the world. He knows that the world is more connected now than ever before. He wants to talk directly to people in other countries, especially young people in the West. He once wrote a famous letter to the youth in Europe and North America. He asked them to read about his religion for themselves. He told them not to believe everything they see on the news. He wanted to start a conversation between different cultures. He believes that many problems in the world come from people not understanding each other. Do you agree that talking to people from other cultures is important? But life is not just about work and politics for him. He still has a very deep love for books and poetry. Every year, there is a big book fair in Tehran, and he almost always visits it. He walks through the rows of books and talks to the publishers. He often buys books about history, religion, and even novels. He says that reading books is like traveling to different worlds without leaving your chair. He also continues his famous poetry nights at his home. Poets from all over Iran and other countries come to read their poems to him. He sits and listens for many hours. Sometimes he even corrects a word or a line in a poem because he knows so much about Persian literature. He believes that poetry is the language of the heart. It helps people express feelings that are hard to say in normal words. Ali also enjoys being in nature when he has the time. In the past, he loved to go hiking in the mountains near Tehran. He would wear a simple hat and walk on the rocky paths. He liked the fresh air and the quiet of the high mountains. Today, he cannot hike as much as he used to, but he still loves plants and trees. He often participates in Tree Planting Day to show that protecting nature is a duty for everyone. His health is something many people talk about. Because he was hurt in the bomb explosion in 1981, his right hand does not work well. But he has learned to do everything with his left hand. This shows how he can adapt to difficult situations. He does not complain about his injuries. He sees them as a reminder of his service to the country. As he looks at the future, he is very focused on Iran's independence. He does not want Iran to depend on other big countries. He tells the Iranian people that they must be self-sufficient. This means making what they need at home. He believes that this is the only way for a country to be truly free. This idea of independence is the most important part of his message to the nation. He also spends a lot of time thinking about the next generation. He knows that he will not be the leader forever. He wants to make sure the young people are ready to take over. He tells them to be brave and to never forget their history. He says that a person who does not know their history is like a tree without roots. A tree without roots can easily fall over in a storm. Let's look back at the long journey we have taken together. We started in a small, one-room house in 1939. We saw a boy who loved books and a student who went to prison for his ideas. We saw a man who survived a war and an assassination attempt. And now we see a leader who guided his country through many changes. It is a story of a very long and busy life. What did you think of Ali Khamenei's story? Whether people agree with him or not, everyone can see that his life has been very full. He has seen the world change from a time without many cars to a time with the internet and space travel. His life is a big part of the history of modern Iran. Learning about him helps us understand the world a little bit better.
Hey, if you learned something new today, please give this video a like. Write your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second and it really helps to create more English videos for you. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.